Oh, yeah, it's Thursday. You know what time it is. Live drawing. We're about to get into it right now. Bacha. Yo, what's good? Look at me right here. I'm animated. It's your guy, all the way from Bed-Stuy, Habbo. And we're going to finish. We're going to finish something tonight. Okay? Because I said I need to start finishing some stuff. Because I have a lot of unfinished projects that I've been sitting on. And it never used to be like this. And now I just have like dozens and dozens of things that are just sitting there waiting to be finished. So yeah, we're going to do something with this tonight. I think in the spirit of spooky season, I'm going to go for a high contrast kind of horror vibe, I guess, maybe. Something a little unsettling, because she's looking really mischievous anyway. So mischievous. But I hope you all are doing well. What's up to Kunam and everyone else in the chat? We have our live goal, physical art giveaway. I would love to reach that tonight because I will be sending out the artwork from the last giveaway tomorrow morning. So if you would like to receive some really amazing and unique artwork from yours truly, help us reach that goal. 10 super chats tonight. If you could do it, I select someone at random that hasn't won before. And then, you'll get your little piece of art. But yeah, we're going to work on this Bemi illustration. I'm looking for something to play in the background. I'm on Big Bull's channel. And I think I might go for tried and true Gran Turismo. They usually have some pretty nice vibes on those soundtracks. So we're going to play that and hope you enjoy this stream. Enjoy the artwork. All right, let me get this queued up. And while this is getting queued up, I also like to remind you that this Sunday is our monthly game night. October's game night is happening this Sunday, October 12th. We're playing Fortnite, so come through. They got the new Fortnitemares mode going on, new characters and new scary stuff happening. So it's going to be pretty spooky, man. Pretty spooky. So come on through. It's absolutely free for all Patreon and YouTube members. If you're part of the Discord, you already know where to go. But yeah, that's what's coming up this weekend. And also, please go and watch my recent video that just came out about feeling safe in the Black community, safety and solidarity. This is a response to a video that Amanda Seales put out. As you see, she's pictured right here next to me. So it's not a diss at all as to what she was talking about, more of a different perspective of what she spoke on in both of her videos, talking and critiquing, the Black community in its current state. So go check that out, share your thoughts, and share the video too. All right, so let me get the music up. Ooh, that is too loud, first of all, and it's starting from the very end. So my bad to all the headphone users. Here we go. That's the stuff. That's the stuff. What product was that? You say that's the stuff. What's that? Is that Hostess? Roof Firestar in the chat. Happy Thursday. Hello, hello. How are you? Oh, guess what? I'm shipping the drawings tomorrow morning. It's happening. I drew them. They're happening. They're coming through tomorrow. They get mailed out. I know y'all been waiting for like 2 weeks, you know, happening. Also, I wanted to say I appreciated you pulling up consistently this week. It's been nice to chat with you. Yeah, I'm excited to see everyone's reactions. I did what I drew was relevant to that particular person, whether it was like an inside joke or just something that like that person was into. Yeah, I know. I appreciate you understanding. It's just, you know, I want to make sure that I'm also adhering to my own rules and regulations. You know what I mean? Just because, you know, I'm working for myself doesn't mean I can just do whatever I want to do, right? Because technically, at the end of the day, y'all are my boss, right? Like the viewers, the members, community. To a certain extent. I'm okay. I was really frustrated earlier because I told y'all that I think I said it yesterday. I was returning that thing I was building yesterday, and I had signed it up to get auto picked up by UPS, and then the fucking UPS person never called or messaged or anything, and then just left the notice on my door. So now I gotta go to the actual shipping center and send it off myself. I don't have to pay for it or anything, but it's just like the point of the pickup was for you to make it convenient so I can end up, you know, having more time to do other things. But it's okay. It works out because tomorrow morning I'm also shipping the artwork, so it just goes together. But they do that sometimes. I think sometimes they just try to like get through their day and skip stops. Like I honestly think they be doing that. And it's not just UPS, it's USPS, UPS. I think the only people that don't do that is FedEx. I feel like every time I've ever had anything shipped or received from FedEx, they usually are pretty on point with it. And I get it because, you know, they have hundreds of packages to deliver every day, all day, every week, you know what I'm saying, every year. So I get it to a certain extent. It's a lot, which means the fault is on the system, the company, and how they handle a lot of those deliveries. PJ at East in the chat. EA Sports. PJ at East. He's in the chat. Here's the thing about the Postal Service is also been slowly defunded over the years. That too. I honestly think they're probably some of the most overworked individuals in our country as far as like service workers are concerned. I would think them, hospitality, waiters, wait staff, kitchen staff, and like restaurants and stuff like that. That's dope. What did you submit? You did a self-portrait. Did you post it in Discord? Oh, Roof Fire. I listened to FAFO last night when I got off the stream. That was a pretty good song. I actually like that record. I didn't know it was that old though. I thought it was something new. But I was bopping my head. I was like, oh, that's hard, man. Like, if I had to be honest with y'all really quick, I prefer Zach Fox over Tyler the Creator. That's probably sacrilegious to say, maybe. I don't know. Tyler don't really like do it for me. He posted it in Discord. I'm gonna look in a second. I think it's mostly because Tyler, hold on, is that too loud? Can y'all hear me? I might turn it down. I'm very peculiar about like who I consume and what I listen to and you know, their history and things like that. I'm all for, I never believed in like fully just, you know, quote unquote canceling people for things that they might have said like 12,000 years ago or tweets or whatever the case may be. So as long as they also acknowledge what they have done and they're working to improve and they're doing something to benefit, you know, any particular groups they may have disparaged, right? Tyler the Creator started his career rapping about sexual harm towards just about every individual on the planet. And it was like throughout a lot of his music. Wolf, you know what I'm saying? Like when I listened to that, I was like, yo, what the fuck? And like a lot of that stuff just is like, it's just odd how blatant it is. I don't know if it was just like a commentary on just rap in general, because you also hear that in other songs, like Rick Ross says you put a Molly in her drink and she don't even know it, right? So it's just, I don't know if it was him kind of like playing on that kind of social commentary aspect of it, but even still, it's just like one day he just switched and then started doing super artsy fartsy shit that, you know, everybody seems to love him for. I also don't like the fact that like he doesn't seem to like have any care about where and when he uses certain terminology and words in front of specific audiences. So like when he says the N-word in his music in front of all of his white fans, or like that time where he said, everybody boo this nigga, and then, you know, the crowd, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, he is a very peculiar individual to me. And I don't know. Everybody is like on his dick, like he's the second coming of God knows who. But Yeah. Like I don't hate his music. I've listened to some stuff from Call Me If You Get Lost. I listened to a little bit of Igor. I listened to Flower Boy. I really like Flower Boy. But there's just, yeah, I don't know. You know what I mean? And I'm not going to be getting on nobody if they still listen to Tyler, but, you know, it's always about, like, what is he really saying and what is he really standing for? And, like, is he, you know what I mean, for the communities that seem to have latched on to him? Because even when, it's like he plays everything like a joke, too, sometimes, even his supposed alleged queerness, because he's like played around with that back and forth, right? And I feel like that's even disrespectful to the queer community in some regards. I don't know how everyone feels about that, but I just feel like there's so many different things that he does that just feels like the antithesis of what he's representing through his music, you know? And that's just me, right? Like, y'all do what y'all want to do. Same thing with Azalea Banks. I talked about her yesterday. Was it yesterday? I don't remember. I talked about her recently. And as great as her music is, as much as I loved a lot of what she's produced, you know, I can't get down with a lot of her politics. And she definitely screams self-hating Negro and has probably never dated a black man, right? So it's hard for me to separate that from, you know, who she is. Because there's been many times where I'm just like, oh my gosh, shut the fuck up and just make some music. You're ruining it for everybody, man. Just make some music. We want another 212. We want another Luxury. We want another, you know what I'm saying? That Mermaid album, whatever the name of it was. But no. Same thing with Nicki too. Like it's a lot of things you got to think about. But I'm gonna read some of these comments real quick because I was just like going off on Diatribe. His new stuff is more studio. KRS-One had 13-year. Yo, that was crazy. Nah, who had the raps? No, it was somebody. Somebody had some. It was Biggie. Biggie had some really crazy raps about like underage. I think that's what you. Where's that? What you were saying? You're talking about like underage interactions. Rick James had music like that too. And shit was like flying off the shelves, right? Like nobody was paying attention. What they said in Outkast song? Y'all don't want to hear me, y'all just want to dance. Sometimes you really gotta pay attention to the lyrics, man. Talking about she was only 17. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy. And I know it's, again, sacrilegious to talk about people who are very popular. But it's like, what's up with that? He needed to be sellable. Yeah, I get it. You know, you have to be marketable, right? Like there's only so much you can, it's only so far you can really go rapping about RAPE, you know, and just being a total like weirdo, right? Like Odd Future, Tyler, that was going towards a very specific type of audience that don't really like, you know, be buying stuff. You get what I'm saying? So you got to do mass appeal. And I think recently his biggest pivot was trying to get more black people to get into his music, get into his shows. You know, what was that last one? Chromacopia. You know what I'm saying? I think that was like a really big pivot for him as well, because I'm pretty sure you probably noticed like his audience was very heavily skewed. You know. Am I ready for Scooby? I saw Velma in the game, but don't reveal nothing that hasn't been publicly said. Please, 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 please. I saw Velma in the game today, and then unfortunately, I had Doja Cat following me. Yeah. I'm sorry you had a rough day, for sure. But yeah, I'm sorry you had a rough day, and I hope things do improve by the weekend, so you can just have a good, relaxing, time, day off, 2 days off, however long it is. Excuse me. I ate a lot of I overate Chinese food, and I'm just feeling like a little bit. What's up, Boy Wonder in the chat? Boy Wonder has entered the chat. I would love to get a thing where I can program it and just like says people's names. It's like VIPs come in. Boy Wonder has entered the chat. Something like that. You just finished the gym, eating dinner. What you eating for dinner, bro? It's a good content. You're content. That's good. Peacemaker finale. Is it tonight? Is it tonight? Because I kept looking. Because there's days where I just I get on and I just try to check all the apps that I have and be like, oh, is there something new? Is there something new? Because I be forgetting sometimes. So is it tonight? Because it wasn't there. And I did see they added a new movie too. That horror movie that came out with the kid that was eating stuff with his teeth. Eating wood with his teeth. What was that movie called? Free Her? Find Her? Get her to I forgot, it was called something like Find Her or something like that. And the little boy kind of looks like that girl that was all over the place after she did that documentary with the biopic of the little girl whose mom had her locked up in the house. You know what I'm talking about? Bring Her Back. Yeah. But this other movie. Yeah. That's the one I'm talking about. Yeah, Bring Her Back. Bring Her Back. Blackened grilled salmon, mac and cheese, and tossed spinach salad. Oh. Chef Boy Wonder D. Huh? For chef. They said they coming to your house. Now it feels like the music is too low. Is it too low now? I heard people said Bring Her Back was frustrating because something black person was used as magical Negro, something. So that's why I wanted to look at it. Because I had forgot about it, and then I saw this blurb of, some frustrations about the movie. So I'm definitely going to watch it. It's only like an hour and some change, so it's not even that long, which is cool. I'll probably watch it while I work on some other stuff this weekend. I also heard that movie with Tiana Taylor and Leo was pretty bad too. Again, specifically towards black women. Some very strong opinions. I'm not surprised. That usually happens when there's anything revolving interracial couples, violence, war, and stuff, etc. There was one mutual who's also black, who said they enjoyed the movie. I was like, oh, that's interesting. Because you're the first black person I've seen actually praise the movie. But there's different contexts for different people. You get what I'm saying? It's like the other day when we went out for the other week when we went out for the second field trip. We had a woman from Africa. She was in Africa. I think she said Nigeria. And there were a lot of questions she had, especially when we went to the Data Consciousness exhibition, where it shows statistics of Black American life. She had a lot of questions, right? So there was a lot of conversation around, obviously like racism, redlining, and the disadvantages that a lot of our forefathers, our ancestors, even, our more recent, members of our family even today have experienced. So there's a lot that folks just don't know. Even if they look like us, there's a lot that folks just don't know, especially if they're from different parts of the world, because they don't have to necessarily deal with the same exact stuff that we have to deal with here in this country. There's racism everywhere, obviously, but she was very surprised and shocked at like a lot of the information that was on display at the exhibition and the stuff that we got to talk about afterwards. So there's always going to be different contexts for people that watch media that features Black people or has some sort of racial aspect to it. What y'all saying in this chat? Bring her back, piss you off for that. But wonder, let me get a plate, twin. Let me tell Kay to get up in here. She needs to stop playing. My twin, that's my twin. I know currently 3 people that share my same exact birthday. It's crazy. You got plenty of Rufire. Yeah, that ain't my reason. Oh, what's your reason? What happened? Yeah, no, yo, speaking, yes. So they dropped the trailer for the new Ninja Turtles movie. I'm really excited about that. That looked really cool. That looked incredible. I love the teaser. And then I just saw Gendy Tartakovsky just posted the trailer for season 3 of Primal. So yeah, animation's about to be eating good in 2026. Cartoons is gonna be eating good. What's up, Eric? What is it today? A special day? Why everybody eating salmon? Did I miss a calendar date? Is the moon out again? Full moon? But yeah, I'm excited for Primal. But I'm curious, like, because what I saw, and I don't want to spoil it, but what I saw looked different from the way it ended. So I have a lot of questions, but I think that's what he wanted. I think that's what Gendy wants. The proximity of Black folks in the belly of the beast of... Wait. You enjoyed Weapons. Weapons was amazing. Weapons was fantastic. I saw that, I think, opening weekend. Weapons was really good. I can't wait for that to come out on Blu-ray. And then Rufire also says the proximity of Black folks in the belly of the beast of imperialism. I think it's easy to think Black folks just are part of American machine. Not saying that is what the young lady believed. Are you talking about the Afrovisionary attendee? Yeah, it's a lot that goes. There's a lot that goes into it, right? It's a lot that folks have to understand when it comes to the plight of this system that we are raised in over here. Because she really thought we was just like sweet. We was eating good, sweet over here, And she's not the only one. But when the context comes in, it's a different vibe. Oh, I like that. That's proper frightening. That's proper mental. But just that, because American propaganda love to project might is right, spreads the thought of everyone is doing well in America. Yeah. Yeah, nah, that's absolutely true. We do see a lot of that sort of propaganda, especially in movies, especially in media that's created by white people, specifically that feature black characters in them, where they do this like post-racial vibe and aesthetic, like everybody's just chill, you know what I mean? Or they do a lot of interracial relationships, or they get a lot of light-skinned actors and characters in their programming. So when folks from the Caribbean or folks from, you know, Africa or any other place in the world watch a lot of that media, they just assume, if they're not politically aware, you know, they just assume like everything is hunky dory, you know, and we're living this idealistic kind of lifestyle, right? They believe that everyone has the same amount of opportunity, the same amount of access, when that's not the case. And we know that to be true because I'm pretty sure most of everyone watching this right now has had some experience with that, some form of racism or prejudice, when it comes to social life, when it comes to work life, or even in any other thing that you might get into. Like it's a common thing. Like we live in a world where they used to feed black babies to alligators. Like this is a country that used to do that, right? Like this is a country that recently just had lynchings happening and reported, because we don't know about the stuff that's not reported, but recently reported, right? Like that mentality is not gone. It hasn't just disappeared and dissipated into the ether, you know? And that's something that we have to be mindful of when we are engaging with folks that aren't aware of that, you know, decolonize their mind, defragment. And that go for all people too, right? Like if you got white friends, you gotta make sure they're aware of what the fuck is going on, right? White, Asian, Latino, whoever. Because we all have implicit bias. There's an implicit bias. Even us as black people have implicit biases against either ourselves or other groups. And that's something that we actively have to deprogram. Even myself, right? Like it's not a perfect thing where it's just like, oh, I'm just super, you know what I mean? There are certain instances where I'm just like, all right, I gotta rethink how I'm approaching this situation or approaching this person, or you know, whatever. Other boy Wonder say in the chat, Fortnite Halloween trailer came out this morning. Yes, I did see it. It looks really good. I'm excited for this. This is my first Fortnitemares, so I'm excited to see what they have in store as far as like the different game modes and stuff like that. Oh my god. That scared me for a second. Like, you know what the craziest thing I learned recently, or like a few months ago? You couldn't, if you was black back in the day, you couldn't buy vanilla ice cream. That's how stupid this fucking country is. You were not allowed to buy vanilla ice cream. This is not BB. This is Bemi. Imagine seeing Team of Scooby-Doo doing the gritty. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Scooby-Doo. Scooby-Doo. That's what exactly. That's why a lot of people love butter pecan. A lot of black folks love butter pecan. Y'all remember that clip on Steve Harvey's show when he had a daytime show, and he asked somebody came up from the audience, and I guess the theme was like your favorite dessert or favorite type of ice cream or whatever. And the lady said, "I love butter pecan." And he said, "What you say? I know you did butter pecan." And then literally had the whole audience singing, "I love butter pecan ice cream. I love butter." It was legit. Like, it feels like a fever dream, but it legit happened. Sounds like an Adult Swim skit, but it legit happened. You would have been cooked. Vanilla is your favorite. Vanilla is a nice starter flavor. It's a really nice, like, simple treat, right? Like just getting a big ass vanilla soft serve vanilla cone. You know what I mean? I love doing that. I love doing it. Anytime I see an ice cream truck, I'm like, do I want to get one today? Steve Harvey is crazy. What your ass say? What your ass say? Speaking of ice cream, Tyra Banks is doing something kind of interesting. I don't know if y'all have seen any of her videos on TikTok. I've been really off TikTok a lot, but I'll get on like maybe once a day as opposed to like using it the entire day. But Tyra Banks is making hot ice cream. And I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. I feel like that little kid from that video. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, hot ice cream. There's probably videos of it on other platforms. She said she's been working on this for like a long time, and she's figured out the formula. It's hot ice cream. She said it's not milk, it's not a latte, it's hot ice cream. That's what she said. And she's calling it, what does she call it? It's got a name. It's got like a funky name to it. I can't remember. But I'm like, what is happening? It's, you know what? It's so fun to be rich, isn't it? Like, to just do stupid shit like that. Wouldn't it be nice if all of us can do something stupid like that? Wouldn't it be nice if we can all just get up one day and say, I'm gonna make hot ice cream? Like, what the fuck? What is going on? What is happening? Huh? What are you doing? You feel like she promoted that before, says Coco? She might have. I don't know. I don't know. Hot milk smoothies. No, not spicy. Like hot, warm ice cream. I don't know. I believe her. I believe her. I believe she's made warm ice cream. I believe her. I do. Indeed I do. You eating flaming hot Cheeto? Leave that red 40 alone, man. Do you like your intestines? Put it down. They don't even use, is Chester even in the commercials anymore? You're gonna make deconstructed taco. That sounds like some shit a hipster would do in 2012 with a whole food truck. Hi, welcome to the Naco Shack. Naco means not taco, because what we serve here is a deconstructed version of what a taco really is. When you put everything down into its base ingredients, that's where you get the richness, the flavor, and the authenticity of the culture it comes from. And them shits is going to be like $45. Just buying ingredients for $45. Dill pickle flaming hot. Oh yeah, didn't Coco had those? I think Coco had those. I feel like, what would be something stupid I would do if I was like doing something exotic and weird with food? I don't even know. because I feel like all the stuff I could think of has already been done, right? Like, you know how bougie niggas are. You know how bougie black folks are, and they be trying to make soul food like everything it shouldn't be. Y'all see, y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. Some of y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. Guac Doritos, dragon fruit, passionate in my way. I miss when they had Sprite Remix. Y'all remember Sprite Remix? That came out at the same time as what was it? Was it honey barbecue? Something. It was like honey barbecue boneless something wings from KFC when they used to have the Twister. You remember that? And wedges. I specifically remember because I remember when I was hanging out with my cousin. I was spending the night at her house. We drove over to KFC. I got Sprite Remix, and she got me the KFC meal with all that stuff I just mentioned. And then we went back to her house, and I was chilling in the living room listening to Ricky Smiley doing his little Darrow skit. That was like a very specific memory. Let me see. Out of here. I would like to remind everyone that this stream is brought to you by Patreon. Patreon.com/Habtunes. We are very grateful for our supporters. For just $1 a month, you can support all the things that happen here on Habtunes, whether it's on YouTube, our in-person events, virtual events, and beyond. Everything that you see here is funded in part by Patreon. Everything that we do, everything that we have, everything that I'm creating, all by myself. I do this all by myself, by the way. So, I would love to start paying folks to edit videos for me. I got somebody. I know someone that I want to have on my roster, and I'll have to pay her and have that be a regular thing, because the less time that I have to spend to edit a video, the more time I have to create or just do other things with my life. So head over to patreon.com/Habtunes today. See all the wonderful things that we have on offer. Support black independent art and media. You want to see new things, want to see new stories? That's where you get them at. Patreon.com/Habtunes. And if you can't or don't want to do a monthly thing, you can also send some money over to Ko-fi, ko-fi.com/Habtunes. It's a one-time only payment. We're trying to reach our monthly goal right there at the bottom. If you'd like to chip into that, go ahead and do so. Or here's another option. We have our live goal right here in the chat. I would love to reach that, because then I could do one more giveaway tonight. That way, by the time I'm ready tomorrow morning to ship out all the other giveaway drawings, you could be right there. That could be yours. We're looking for 10 super chats tonight. 10 super chats. And we do an art giveaway. 10 super chats and we do an art giveaway. Oh shit. Oh no. Oh no. think that works. Is Bimmy's favorite holiday Halloween or April Fool's? Yes. Maybe before. That makes sense. Kind of. Bemmy's thinking of a master plan. Hinga Dinga Durgan. What do y'all talk about in the chat? Fruitopia. We had that in our school, in middle school. We had Fruitopia vending machine. Those were, so funnily enough, those were like the first vending machines to be put in like a large number of American schools. Because Fruitopia was created to, I think it was created to rival another juice. I can't remember. I watched a video about it like a month ago. It's crazy like how all this stuff comes to be. I really like Pepsi Twist. Nah, it wasn't Juicy Juice. It was like, it had something to do with the big cola companies. I think if I do it like this. Losing so much. Yeah, it was Sobe. Yeah. It was that. Yeah, they were trying to compete with Sobe. That's what it was. There was like a big boon in like juices and energy drinks for a while, and like mad companies were competing with each other, and Fruitopia was one of those things that came out of that. On SpongeBob, he celebrated Leif Erikson Day and said Hinga Dinga Durgan. Okay. Like, I know I was alive when Surge existed, but I don't remember it. There were definitely specific things in specific markets. I don't like that. Like, there are certain candies and juices and just junk food in general that existed in like the Midwest or the South that never made it to other markets because they were just testing it there in those specific places. So there's stuff that some of y'all will talk about that I never even saw a day in my life. And vice versa. You're laughing, but it's true. They do test a lot of junk food in the South and Midwest. Legitly. Okay. One of your friends who lives in Texas were able to get their hands on Fargo. Fargo, the movie that turned into a TV series. You felt so vindicated that you were able to put them onto Fago Red Pop. Oh, Fago. I have no idea what that is, but I'm assuming it's a delicious beverage filled with chemicals that make it taste great. Speaking of Fargo, what's going on with the next season? Are they going to have another season? What's up? That was one of my favorite shows for a while. Fago is so good. Has the best strawberry poo. Strawberry poo. Pop. Oh. I was like, wait. I was like, what kind of Futurama shit? Yeah, I remember in Futurama when they was eating the popcorn chicken, it was just like baby aliens. Like baby alien embryos. Y'all remember that? That was so freaky. And then Slurm, you remember Slurm? It was just like the slug boo boo. I mean, might as well be what we drinking too, right? I'll be trying to get off a lot of. I don't even really be drinking soda like that. Recently, I've been bad, but like generally, I mostly drink water, and sometimes like a juice here and there, or at most I would do like a ginger ale, or like natural juices and shit, like fresh squeezes and all that. Oh boy, what I just do. I drink mostly water. It says PJ had a soda every few days. Sometimes I'll get a little Red Bull for class so I didn't sleep, but not often. I'm getting too old for that crap. Felt it in your heart. Ooh, that's scary. Slug juice. Yeah, nah, that was in Futurama. It was crazy. It was like they said it was like the most delicious beverage they ever had, and then turns out it came out of like alien slug butt. Slug booty. Spooty. I found you, Miss New Spooty. Has anyone watched the new seasons? Like, are they still as good as the classic stuff, or is it just like every other show where it comes back and it's like, okay, we could have kept this in the vault a little longer or forever? It was kind of a wash. Yeah, I feel like that's gonna happen. Even if it is, I feel like Futurama, for me, when they came back like that first time, it was really good. And I felt like out of the two shows of them and The Simpsons, I felt like Futurama was the superior show. After like the longevity, right? Because like Simpsons just trailed off completely after some time. There's still moments here and there, but like it definitely trailed off. And I feel like that's the same for like most shows. Even with King of the Hill coming back, it was still funny. Those 13 episodes were still funny, but it didn't, you know what I mean? It didn't like hit the exact same. Like it was fun. It was fun. I laughed. I had a good time. It was great seeing a lot of the characters come back. But like it wasn't, I think it might have just been because it's 13 episodes instead of like the usual was it 24 episodes they would do. So we didn't really get to see the character building. We didn't get to really fall into someone's life and follow their journey throughout the season. There wasn't no, you know what I mean? It was just like a quick in and out type of vibe. The animation definitely changed. That's just, you know, that's just what happens, you know, over time, if the technology advances so far, you know. And it's probably easier for them to put out the episodes that way. But I feel like if you're doing 13, you might as well just try to emulate the original visual aesthetic at least. But, you know, that might have been out of their control. That might have been out of I was about to call him Matt Groening. Mike Judge's control. Because you know he doesn't even own Beavis and Butthead. He lost it. I don't know if he still lost. Wait, does he still? Because I remember when he first started, he lost the rights to Beavis and Butthead because it was like, you know, he was new on the block. He wanted the money. It seemed like a good deal. You know, it might be the same with King of the Hill too. I'm not sure. I think the music stopped. Hold on. I'm gonna restart it. I don't feel like digging for another playlist right now. Because even King of the Hill being in Fortnite feels like something Mike Judge would not have wanted. Same with Beavis and Butthead being in Call of Duty. I don't know him personally. I just found out what he looked like this year. But I feel like the Fortnite and Call of Duty crossovers feel as if they might have been more of a corporate decision than a Mike Judge decision. Ooh, there's a new speaking of Jet Set Radio, Rufire, there is a brand new game coming out from the same folks that did Cyberpunk Bomb Rush. Yeah, I think that's the name of it. They got a new game coming out, which is the spiritual successor to Jet Set Radio Future. It looks really good. Ooh, and they also dropped the trailer for Skate Story. I've been waiting on this game for like 5 years. Skate Story is finally coming out in December for PlayStation. So I'm definitely going to be playing that. And get the taste of EA Skate out of my mouth. You know they charging $35 to buy an Isaac Clarke outfit. I'm uninstalling that shit, bro. Game don't even have game. You can't even sketch. You can sketch in Skate 1 that came out in what, 2007? You mean to tell me that y'all couldn't spend the time to even do a simple feature like that? Like, I know the people that play it like on the regular are having fun, right? But those are not the people that were playing Skate in the previous generations. These are live service kids. These are people that have been converted, either converted or they already were born into it. So they don't have that sense in their head to be like, oh, this is wrong. Yeah, you can't even dark slide. You can't sketch. There's no cutscenes. All the NPCs that talk to you are just PNG images. Like, there's none of the any essence of Skate in the game. Like, at all. And it's like, I don't want it to fail because I know that team probably worked really hard on that. But at the same time, I feel as if it's only being made so that they can just latch onto more live service stuff. You get what I'm saying? Because EA's been trying. They've been trying, and they've had a lot of failures. But at this point, bro, like I forgot to. I was like, oh, I gotta uninstall this because when I saw that trailer for the season pass and all that, I was like, you know what? You just turned a game that was once like a solid experience for skate culture for newcomers and veterans alike. There's not even any pros in the game, as far as I know. Like, some of the characters from previous games return, like Slappy and Shingo, but like, there's no pros. Like, where's Eric Costin? Where's Rob Dyrdek? Where's Danny Way? Where are the new kids like Nigel Houston? There's literally no pros in the game. So it's just like, I don't know. I wouldn't say it's like completely trash, but it's definitely doesn't hold up to people that are veterans to playing the series. It doesn't hold up to what the game used to be, what the franchise used to be. And that's not to say that I'm against change, because like, obviously you have to evolve with the times, right? Because the last Skate game came out how long ago? You can't have the exact same humor and writing and all of that in the new one, because there's a new generation out now, and a lot of what we thought was funny 12 years ago is not funny anymore. You get what I'm saying? So like, I'm cool with that. It's just the gameplay itself is not as solid, and the city is boring. That city, it sucks too. Like, the lighting, it's skyscrapers everywhere. Like, what kind of city is this? They're talking about, oh, this was made from the ground up to be for skaters. I'm like, it don't feel like it. It really don't. Oh, is Coco still here? I want her to hear this one. Coco, you still here? I want you to hear this one. I learned this yesterday. I'm pretty sure some of y'all know about this too. The only update that I care is if they make it an offline experience where you can just play it without having to be connected to the internet at all times. Because otherwise, if we just keep playing it, we're just feeding their analytics and saying, oh, these people love playing this game. Like, I feel like if we all just stop playing it and uninstall it, they'd probably be like, oh, shoot, we made a mistake. Let's start over. You know? Just look at No Man's Sky. Look at Cyberpunk. Look at what else? What other game changed due to massive player revolt? There's another game that came out recently that changed because of that. But look at those games as an example and how much they've evolved and changed over the years and have become way better than they were when they first released. Especially No Man's Sky. I feel like No Man's Sky is the critical darling of the gaming industry right now because we don't have any other game like this where they consistently and constantly updated the game with free expansions that deepened the mechanics of the game, added so much to it at no cost to the player outside of them buying the game one time. On top of the fact that every time they release a new expansion, they put the game on sale on every platform. If I can get y'all all on No Man's Sky, that would be great. We would have a blast. Anyway, Tony Hawk Pro Skater, yeah, they just released remasters or remakes of 3 and 4 a few months ago, and then a couple of years ago during the pandemic, they released 1 and 2. And a lot of people are really hoping for Thug 1 and 2 and Thaw. And then after that, I don't think nobody would care for anything else. Like, release Thug 1 and 2 and then Thaw, we good to go. The only thing about these remakes though is that some of the original material doesn't exist, but they had to take it out due to licensing reasons and shit like that. Like, a lot of the original soundtrack is different or has been changed or altered. Even in this new one, 3 and 4, they added new songs. And for a lot of people, you know, that sucks. I personally don't care because then, like Tony said, you can just turn on your own music if you want to. Like, I see both sides. Not to sound like that person. All right, I guess Coco's not here. I'm just going to say this anyway. So apparently, Ubisoft was supposed to release listen to me. Ubisoft was supposed to release an Assassin's Creed game where you played as a slave who becomes an assassin to fight and kill the Ku Klux Klan. And they said that they stopped because they saw the backlash to Assassin's Creed Shadows with the historical figure Black Samurai that existed in the game. So we could have had an entire game killing the Klan. But you know what? Part of me is like, I'm glad it didn't come out because who's going to be in the writer's room? How are they going to approach that? Would it really have been, you know, the game that ideally a lot of Black Assassin's Creed fans would have been looking for? You get what I'm saying? It's a risky prospect, right? Because Mafia 3 had some notions like that too. Like, Mafia 3 had some combat instances where you were going against the Klan. And Red Dead, even though you didn't play as a Black person in Red Dead Redemption 2, you also could fight the Klan in that as well, like a world event. But yeah, we could have had Assassin's Creed Roots. I'm sorry, that shouldn't have been funny. I shouldn't have laughed at that. We could have had Assassin's Creed Roots. They was gonna make it corny though. They was gonna Birth of a Nation that shit. Rootfire says, I have the Assassin's Creed game where you play as a Black woman. Aveline de Grampe. I'm saying it like in a weird accent. I turned it off in 2 minutes. I was like, don't know what the hell to do. That one was different. It definitely played differently because they were going off of, I guess it's weird because sometimes when game developers or publishers make a new experience where a woman is the lead, a cisgender woman is the lead, they do weird things with the mechanics. Like I remember there one time Nintendo had a Princess Peach game and literally all her powers were based off of her emotions. So in this Assassin's Creed Liberation game where you played as Aveline de Gram, I can't say her last name, I keep messing it up. Forgive me, all my Haitian cousins out there. But in this particular game, it was all about disguises. So it's like you were playing dress up, you know, to blend in. But other than that, I'm pretty sure it played similarly to the other games. It just had like a few of those weird mechanics mixed in to kind of like make it feel like a completely different experience. Nah, I don't think the public wants that. I don't think the public wants that, PJ. Because we saw what happened with the backlash to Yosuke in Assassin's Creed Shadows. We saw the backlash to even the female lead, right? We're seeing backlash now in some regard with Ghost of Yote. There's literally a meme I saw where someone was like, oh, I fixed the game, and they just made the protagonist generically, you know, beautiful, whatever standard they thought it was, and gave her like giant breasts. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think the public, especially going off of my thread posts where everybody was coming at me for saying that I mostly want to play games where I can be black, and all the white people got mad. The public's not ready. Gamers have not evolved yet. Gamers have not evolved yet. I think other pieces of fandom in different areas and different industries are a lot more accepting and better and advanced, but gamers have not evolved yet. At all. I still remember that time when there was a huge backlash for Baldur's Gate 3 winning Game of the Year over Spider-Man. It's like, yeah, the game where it has a deep combat system and very well-written story and character customization is going to beat out the generic superhero game where you can beat it within 12 hours without paying attention to anything. Yeah. You know, and they had a fit. A lot of people was like, what the fuck is Baldur's Gate? What is this? You know, it was a whole big thing because on average, a lot of these people just don't have the, you know what I'm saying, the mental acuity to be in different types of genres of game. You're talking about people that just play 2K and Call of Duty. You know what I'm saying? Like, or superhero games. And not to say that there's anything wrong with sports games or superhero games at all, or shooters. But if that's all you play, then your opinion on things and your taste is going to be heavily skewed against people who play a full range of video games. So you're going to be confused when you see certain types of games win awards over your favorite. You know. And like I said, I would love to see if they were to retread and revisit that subject with Assassin's Creed. I would want to know who is on the team. Where is this taking place? And what the narrative is going to center around specifically. Because, like, you're not going to be killing Clan the entire game. So what's happening in the between moments, and for the in-between moments? What historical figures are you going to bring in? You know what I'm saying? It's a different contextualization. I'm sure other folks have felt that too. The French with Assassin's Creed Unity. or the Egyptians with Origins, right? It's a very tricky thing, especially with something that is still kind of like we're told in this country, we're told to get over it, right? So it's like, how are we gonna write a story about a subject that majority of the gaming public probably don't want to hear about because they're tired of hearing about people talk about it? That's another great point too, like the use of the hard ER, right? The very liberal use of it and how it's used in the context, right? It's so many things we got to think of when we're talking about a game dealing with slavery. The big one. That's why we haven't really seen games about the Holocaust. Sure, you might see stories touch on it here and there. I think, there's their whole Wolfenstein franchise that's like, oh, let's kill Nazis. But I guarantee you they probably brush over or do alternate history to avoid getting into like very specific subject matter and scenarios. Yeah, Mafia 3, I played it. I think I have it on my PlayStation. I played maybe 45 minutes of it. The one thing I wanted to do was feed somebody to an alligator. Like, I was specifically wanting to find out how to do that. And when I did that, I turned the game on. Because I think literally the first 5 minutes of playing the game, they were saying the hard ER. I'm like, oh, I was not ready for that. I turned on the game and they just letting it fly. I'm like, did Quentin Tarantino make this? Like, yo, they was wilding. They was wilding. That fine? Okay. I might have to put some shadows on the bottom though. I might have to. Roofire says, I would also feel worried that because it's during slavery, they would also OD on having cutscenes of lynching, whipping, and any other form of physical or racial torture. Yeah. Nah, for real. That's another thing too. It's like that's what I was saying. It's like, what is going to be depicted, right? Are they going to show, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, our ancestors jumping off the boat, right? Are they going to show the hardcore things that happened once we reached the land, the auctions, the sexual abuse, the whipping, you know what I'm saying? The torture, the whole torture, PORN of it all. You know? It's probably a reason why nobody has done it yet because of that. But like I said, part of me is relieved that Ubisoft, however you want to pronounce it, didn't go through with it. It's just unfortunate that they decided not to go through with it because of their fear of backlash, because white people can't handle seeing black men or women or any black person as a main character in their favorite franchise. They liked Adewale because Adewale was a background character. So when he had his own game, it was like, it wasn't that big of a deal because he wasn't taking away, quote unquote, you can't see my hands, but he wasn't taking away from the main experience. Whereas in Shadows, you either have to play as the young Asian woman or you have to play as the 6 foot tall black samurai. Assassin's Creed Freedom Cry was a choice. You didn't have to buy that. You didn't have to play that. It didn't take away from playing as white man Edward Kenway, the pirate. Same thing with Assassin's Creed Liberation, Aveline. I guarantee you a small number of Assassin's Creed fans played that game. Not everybody. That's a very big skip, especially since it first came out on the PSP. How many people had a PSP by the time that came out? You know? This is great conversation. This is something I definitely want to touch on in a video essay or something at some point when I get back into doing video essays. I'm trying to think of like editing style and how I can stand out from others, you know, because everybody has got a fucking video essay now on this platform. Everybody's got one. So I might watch this stream back and just write some stuff down to make notes. Because this is something that I feel like people don't understand when it comes to... And this is why I say what I say, where I don't play a lot of games where I can't be black. Like if I'm forced, or if the default character is just like Joel, I'm probably going to skip it. And a lot of folks were too dumb to understand the nuance of that. It's not me saying that I just don't play any video game at all, but I'm very choosy. So yeah, I will play at some point Ghost of Yotei, right? But I'm also, if they made a Witcher, if the next Witcher was Geralt, I wouldn't touch it. You get what I'm saying? Rufire also says in the chat, like one thing that does irk them is that when we do get black leads in a game set in the past, it's just an excuse to have white characters say all the racist shit, and it's just like they hide behind the excuse of it's historically accurate. And the same could be said, Scar, I'm so sorry. The same could be said for film and TV as well. The same could be said for film and TV. So I definitely agree with that. It's a tight rope. It's a tight rope to walk, because the non-black people that do end up on the writers team or on any part of development, they have to be like hyper aware of what they're doing, right? It can't just be like, oh, I'm making Assassin's Creed, you know? And I think that's why they also put that disclaimer in the very beginning, where it's just like this game was created by a diverse roster of people from all walks of lives, religions, backgrounds, and stuff like that. I think that's why they have that disclaimer there, to kind of ensure you that, you know, we're doing the best of what we got. Because not for nothing, Assassin's Creed does some pretty interesting stuff with its stories, where like, see, you're losing so much detail here. I didn't want it to just be like, I don't know. Oh, I don't know, guys. I don't know. But yeah, because they've done some super sacrilegious stuff too. But people don't really think about that, because like that goes over a lot of folks' head most of the time. But like the Catholic Church being involved in the Templars and stuff like that, and kind of tapping into different religions and whatnot, and kind of going into like the creation theory, and with the precursors of those who came before creating humanity and all this stuff. Like it's really, that's what made it one of my favorite video games back in the day, because it absolutely had one of probably the most dynamic stories at the time. Now it's just like a bunch of gobbledygook. I can't tell you what's happening in the narrative of an Assassin's Creed game anymore. But when it first came out, those first like 4 or 5 games, the Ezio era, perfect. They could have ended it right there and it would have been great. Roofire also says in the chat, and the thing is, not every white person who was overly racist have to say the N-word to engage in race. Exactly. And I think that's what is missing too when people do these stories that are set in the past. They just think all white people just all the time just say the N-word every 5 seconds. It's like, no, they were saying all kinds of other things. They were enacting other forms of violence, both verbally and physically, to engage with their extremely and utterly destructive and inhumane racism, which is what racism is anyways. It's inhumane. Roofire continues to say, like, of course I expect slurs, but also like, damn, black characters have lives and issues outside of just blatant anti-blackness they face at the hands of the white folk. Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's why so many folks were latching on to Ryan Coogler with the Sinners hype, because he was able to do something that we either, I would say, we don't see as often or we never get to see. The way he portrayed everybody in that movie and how he portrayed racism in the film as well. Can we get a movie where it's coming of age and or a love story? Well, it's hard to do that though at the same time because I see what you're saying, but also at the same time on that same coin, I think it's hard to do because we were under a ton of strife and oppression for a very long time. So any stories that would have been in the past would still in some part, in some way, whether great or small, be affected by the triangular trade, the Atlantic slave trade, civil rights, like all the things that happened in this country, you know what I mean? Building up to where we are now, right? So like, we could do that story where it's just like, oh, we're showing a coming of age romance, rom-com or whatever, but then that would also dismiss like the stuff that was going on around us. Like to do a historical piece like that. Because look at what happened with Doctor Who, right? When they would do the episodes where they would meet black figures, which only happened like twice. But when Doctor Who did the Rosa Parks episode, I said, first of all, what the fuck? Second of all, what I didn't know what to feel or even respond in that moment, because it was like, one, do y'all have your own Black History leaders over there? It's like Black History Month right now in the UK. Y'all don't have nobody y'all can talk about and highlight? I get they were trying to appeal to the American audience, but we already like Doctor Who. There's so many black Americans that love watching Doctor Who, you know? But even in that story, them going back to the past, going to meet Rosa Parks, obviously that's going to be tied to, you know, some form of racial strife. And then the villain was really corny though. He was just like a racist from the future. He was trying to destroy black people or something like that. And it was just like, all right, get it. Coco says she heard Sinners and is lurking and not commenting as much, but enjoys the conversation. Rufai continues and says, well, I mean, it's not, I'm saying like act like racism doesn't exist. I expect to see that. Just the story doesn't have to be all, the story doesn't have, gotta be how will black characters fight racism. Oh, no, okay, I get you. I get what you're saying. Kind of like South of Midnight. So in the same vein of South of Midnight, where there's definitely over and undertones of racism throughout the story, especially with the grandma at one point where you feel it, but it's not all about that. Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. Yeah. And I think the one way we get that is, you know, just at least with video games, is using the power of our spending power to show developers what we're looking for and what we don't want to see, and seeing what black game devs are up to, right? The guy I mentioned yesterday, Jamal, he actually had a little demo of a game where it was like a doomer, what's it called? Doomer shooter? Like Doom. You know, Doom, the game where you walk around and you're like shooting demons, but instead of demons, it's like the clan, right? He had a game like that. So it's like seeing what they're up to and what they're trying to do and what we can fund, so we can have those types of stories. Because no one else is going to do that for us. Like, let's be real, no one else is going to do that for us, and we can't rely on the allies to be like fully committed to that sort of thing. Because look at what's happening so far. Nothing. I feel like I should move it up now. It feels very different from the initial drawing. And that's where like the financial factor comes into it. We have to spend money to see those things come to fruition, or we have to generate some form of income or sustainability for that black dev or the studio that they're running to be able to create those things. Like, there are a lot of creators who go to Kickstarter and they'll have campaigns up, right? I think the guy that made Never Yield, Ariel Knight, I think he was on Kickstarter at one point, and he's making a sequel to his game. I didn't personally like it that much, I'll be honest, because I'm not going to like every single thing that that my brothers and sisters want to make, but I'm still going to be like, oh, you should check this out, somebody should play this, right? Because we're all we got, and we have to make sure that we support any way we can. And if even if we don't like something all the way, or it's not for us, offer critique as well. It's like, hey, would you consider doing X, Y, and Z, or would you do this for your next game, right? It's about communication and community at the end of the day. So if we want to see those stories and we want to see them happen, we don't need Ubisoft. We don't need EA. We don't need whoever else, white man studio, to make this happen. It would be nice, but that's just not the reality of it, right? So in essence, it's that grassroots collectivism that's going to promote it, because we see that happen. Look at the movies, look at TV. Film and TV has been eaten well for the last 5 years alone. On every streaming app you go on, there's at least 5 black shows on there that you can watch and enjoy from different genres. Going to the movies now, there have been plenty of black written, black directed films to watch, whether it's something indie or a major motion picture. And also on the book side, for graphic novels and regular literature, there's tons of black media to consume and support. So it's like, let's put our money where our mouths are. And if we don't got it like that, then we figure out ways to get that person funded. And I feel like we skip that part because we're always complaining, but we skip the financial support part. It's like, that can't be just the skin, that can't be erased. Like, you can't go from point A to point C and not touch on B. You get what I'm saying? So we can't skip over that. There's what's her name? I can't remember her name off the top of my head. There's a creator right now. She just put out a show on YouTube called The Comic Shop, which honestly I think she could have called it something else, because that's just so generic. It's going to be really hard for that show to get the attention it deserves, on top of the fact that it's a black woman led and written show. But she also has a Kickstarter to create a graphic novel based on the show. It costs money to create these things. It costs money to produce the media that the kinfolk want to see. So it's like, we got to throw money up for her Kickstarter. We got to throw money up for her project to see it come through to fruition. Unfortunately, that's the world we live in. You know? Rufire says in the chat, for example, random plot idea, a black woman who is a linguist and specializes in preserving languages dying out got sent back to the past, and she was able to explore language of a culture she studied. You should do that. Start writing it all down right now so that nobody steals that from you. That sounds like a pretty cool thing. Lupita Nyong'o. No, forget Lupita. Let Lashana Lynch be the lead of a damn project. I'm sick of her being the sidekick. She's always the sidekick next to somebody. But that could be a really cool thing. I would go see that if it was a film or a TV show, or play it if it was a video game or some like Lara Croft shit, you know. Or a comic or a book or whatever. But what we have to do again is like fund it. We need funding. Because we can talk about ephemeral ideas and plot points till our faces turn purple. Ain't gonna get nowhere until we put some green in the machine. Everybody want to be free. Niggas want stuff for free. And it's like, yo, hello? That's too bright. Oh my God. But no, this is a really great conversation. I appreciate you being here to discuss this, because these are the conversations that we should be having, and these are the conversations that need to be had, especially when we're talking about like white people being in control of black stories, you know, because that could have gone, if they went through with that, the slave game or slave rebellion game, who knows how that could have turned out. What gets you about Mafia 3? That it's a light-skinned nigga as a lead. That's Tyreek brother. No, I definitely can get that. I didn't get that far in the game, so I don't know exactly the context of what you're talking about, but I understand there being a lack in general. Because we've seen that in many other games as well. That's kind of how I felt when playing GTA 5, where I felt Franklin was kind of maligned in favor of, you know, Michael's story. Like, it was a game where you played as three people, but it felt like Michael was the main character driving everything, and, you know, Franklin was just like there, like he existed, you know, like, yeah, he gets the stuff at the end, he gets the money, he gets the girl and all of that, but like the journey there was just weird, you know. And it's not that I wanted it to be focused entirely on Grove Street, but like, yo, we got to see way more of Trevor and Michael than Franklin. Like, there was stuff that I saw with Trevor that I didn't want to see, bro. He was, you know what I'm saying? It's just nasty, weird, uncomfortable stuff. And everybody laughed at it like, oh, it's so funny. And that's probably why Stephen Ogg don't even talk about the game no more. He don't even like GTA 5. He told a fan to go read a book one time. He told a fan to go read a book because they asked him if he was going to be in GTA 6 or something like that. I can't remember what the context was, but he was like, go read a book. But yeah, Franklin felt like a random attachment, not even DLC. He felt like a stuff pack, like the Sims stuff packs. Y'all know that? He felt like a stuff pack, and he was just there to kind of like be the. He was in place of the viewer, because every time he would get into a situation, he'd be like, "What?" He's always confused about something. He never really took the lead, and I get it because he was young and everything. But like CJ also was young and doing all kinds of crazy stuff on his own volition. Rufai says, I was also upset, like I want to see more Franklin and Lamar's dynamic, and also would have liked to see more story between Franklin and Tasha, his ex. Yeah, that would have been really nice. Like, I would have definitely taken more Franklin stories over seeing Trevor do weird sexual things to a teddy bear. You know what I'm saying? And even that's weird too, because it's like they're playing the mentally ill character as like a joke in a sense too. It's a lot of weird stuff that happened in that game. But what I really didn't like was when we got to a point where the world started to cross over a little bit, and it felt like anybody from Franklin's side was shrunken in the presence of like all the other characters. So like Lamar, when paired with Trevor, right, just felt so tiny. But when he was with Franklin, it felt like a really fun dynamic, like he was the big bro, right? It felt like he was the nigga that you didn't want to step to because he was going to do something. He's going to get you. But when paired with Trevor, it was just like, oh, this dude weird. I'm going to be, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to be quiet type vibes. It was a very strange dynamic overall. Rufire says, I saw Franklin's story about him not knowing what he wants to do about his life, and he felt aimless, so he just did what was familiar to him. Yeah, and I wanted more from that too. Like, I wanted more from his angle and his side and his perspective, where like you journey with him into that confident person he becomes later on, especially when they introduce like the multiplayer DLC where you see him again, he's older and he owns like a whole company and stuff. It's like, where did that, like, I wish I would have seen that during, not saying he was going to be a billionaire in the course of a single story like that, but like it would have been cool to have seen that kind of take flight in the main line story. That would have been a great concept for the story, finding your path as a late bloomer. Yeah, because he was much older. It wasn't like he was super duper young. He was much older. You know. But yeah, Like looking back at it, I definitely would have wanted more from the writers on Franklin. So I think if there's probably a statistic somewhere where it shows you like how many missions you played as this character, that character, this character. There's probably very little compared to. I felt like there was more. There's definitely a lot of stuff with Michael because like he's the centerpiece, right? But I felt like there was more. I feel like they really focused on Trevor more than anything else. Like there was a lot. Like I remember being Trevor for a long time. I remember being Trevor for a long time. I was like, what is going on? Get me out of this weird ass desert place. I'm tired of it. But yeah. I think I might move this up now that it's like this though. I don't know. We have to add more shadows down here, obviously. Fire says, I think for me, I'm really interested in stories about Black characters being able to grow, whether for the better or for the worse. I'm interested in the ways that your life can take you different. I feel like Black characters don't get enough slice of life kind of stories about their growth and change. Yeah, it's very few and far between. Like I know in The Walking Dead, I think Lee was probably a phenomenal example of what you're saying. I think Lee's story was very heart-wrenching, and you felt for who he was and what he wanted to be and what he was trying to you know, redeem himself from, right? I'm trying to think of anybody else. I feel like even though he wasn't a main character, you kind of see that with Barrett as well in Final Fantasy VII, specifically Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and Remake. You know, he starts off as this like stereotypical. Also, I no offense to the brother that did his voice, but he really did sound like Colonel Lincoln Osiris from Tropic Thunder. I'm sorry, he really did. That was a very strange voice that came out of his mouth. But he starts off as like this super crazy, not super crazy, but like this incredibly passionate hothead, right? Like Shinra, yeah, we gotta take Shinra down. And then you start to see like him whittle down a little bit, especially when you start to learn of his backstory with his adopted daughter and then his wife, who was very gorgeous, by the way. I think they did a pretty good job on the character model, especially with the hair. It was really I love that. But yeah, it's very few and far between where you really get to see Black characters thrive in the way that you're describing, because we are often used as the pivot to something else in somebody else's story, like the side character, even if we are, you know, part of the main cast, right? And then the games where we do like even in what do you mean, you people? What do you mean, you people? Huh? Excuse me, Kangaroo Jack. But no, even when we are the center stage of it all, right? There's still some tedium to how it plays out. And again, that goes with who's in the room, who's in the writer's room, who's on the team. Uh-oh. I'm gonna do it. I was probably bothering somebody at that little market. I think that's, yeah. Because this is not originally what I wanted to do with this illustration, but I was like, it's feeling kind of spooky, so I want to do like some high contrast shadows and stuff. I feel like this is decent. I feel like I want to do more to it though. I feel like it's still not quite where I want it to be, but it might end up being like this, and that's it. I don't know. But what do y'all think? How y'all feel about this? Does it look cool? Does it look weird? Does it look spooky? Are you nervous? Does she make you nervous? Check your pockets. She might have taken your wallet. Got your wallet. I was tagged in something. I was tagged in something I'm not even in. What the hell? Spooky Bemi is about to do something to make us all mad. I like it, but it doesn't give spooky to you or annoyed. Yeah, nah, Bemi definitely be doing too much. Should be doing too much. So yeah, we're gonna wrap. I feel like this is, for all intents and purposes of the stream title, this is quote unquote finished, but I feel like I still want to do something else to it, or maybe change it entirely. I don't know. But I feel like for all intents and purposes, this is quote unquote finished. So this may upload as is whenever I end up uploading it. So it's going to be, I feel like it's going to be part of a series of Hobgoblin themed illustrations that I've started in the last few months. But we'll see. It feels more mischievous. Yeah, I see that. I see spooky. I see mischievous. I just see I need to make sure I lock all my doors, because she might steal my oxtail. I don't know. But yeah, I want to thank y'all for coming through tonight and chatting with me, Coco, PJ, Boy Wonder, Rufire, Kunam, and all the lurkers. We had a lot of folks tuning in tonight, I noticed. Say hello though. Don't be scared. You know, you can always say hi. But yeah, just a few reminders before we go completely. Okay, so here is the event schedule. Like I said, this Sunday is our game night. We're playing Fortnite. Fortnite is available on all platforms. It's cross-play, cross-save, so make sure your game is updated. Make sure that your controller has the right batteries. Make sure your headset is on properly. All those good things, so that we can continue to have a wonderful experience together seamlessly, so we can all play at the same time. Okay, so get ready for that this Sunday. And then on the 15th, we have our virtual drink and draw. It is free for YouTube members and Patreon members. Those who aren't either on either platform or either membership, you can go to the link pinned in the chat to get a ticket. It's $5 entry for those non-members. And on Friday is our movie night. We're watching The Blackening. The Blackening. It's a great movie. I actually really like it, and I would love to discuss it with y'all. So come through, tell your friends or whoever, and let's have a good time talking about The Blackening. On the 18th is the Afrovisionaries Museum field trip, going to Mokata on the 18th. That's the Saturday after the movie night. Mokata is a Black-owned museum, and they're opening for their fall exhibition cycle. So I'm really excited to see what they have on display. It'll be my first time seeing the exhibitions there, and also obviously the first time being there as well. I have never gone there before. I always knew about it, but I just always forgot to go visit. So this will be a great opportunity to check it out, especially with all of y'all. Sunday, the Sunday right after our field trip, we're going to have a virtual workshop, the artist development workshop I'm calling the Creator Circle. a casual, laid-back experience for us to chop it up, talk about some pros and cons and things that we're dealing with in the industry, how to maintain our practice, to find our style, our voice, and sustain what we do through whatever means we find and deem necessary as artists, as entrepreneurs, and creators, right? So that's going to be on Sunday, October 19th. So make sure you pull up for that. And I also have some other events that we'll talk about later on as we get closer to them. But if you can also redirect yourself to the Habtoon shop. That right there, that person right there, you see that person? That is Coco. She's in the chat right now, right? She got some really cool stickers from the Habtoon shop. Bemi Kong, BB Kong, and Ladaiska's Truth. We have some other stickers available, including art prints as well, with apparel on the way. So go ahead and get you something to show off to the world how much you love the Habgoblins, okay? Go check it out, habtoons.shop. Habtoons.shop. Link is pinned in the chat, the YouTube chat. And if you're watching this in the future, or the replay, is in the description box below. Sweaty Minds is my comic. It's a comedy-based comic. It's a satirical comic based on modern-day politics, colloquialisms, and Black American culture. So if you like any of those things, if you like the humor of the cheeky humor of the Boondocks or whatever other Sunday comic you enjoyed back in the day, this is the comic for you. It's free to read on my website, habtoons.com/sweatyminds. It typically updates every Wednesday, but lately I've been focused on other projects, so I haven't been able to update it as often as I would like to. But you can see a lot of the behind the scenes and early access to future comics and comics that probably won't be public, comics that won't be public and exclusive to the Patreon platform. So that's another reason for you to sign up to the Patreon right now, okay? And last but not least, we're on the YouTube platform. That means I have YouTube videos for you to check out and watch. I recently uploaded a new video talking about safety within the Black community. Amanda Seales recently put out a video where she described being not necessarily unsafe within the Black community, but doesn't necessarily feel like this is like home for her. It was a critique on just how she sees things, especially as a cisgendered Black woman as well. And I loved a lot of what she said. I didn't agree with every single thing that she said, but I definitely understand her perspective, and I wanted to kind of talk about that, especially in the context of how I'm seeing myself more ingratiated and integrated within specific parts of the Black American community here right now, especially with organizations that I've joined recently or have been events that I've been attending. So we're talking about safety and solidarity within the Black community. So go check that out. Go watch it. Leave a comment. And then when you watch it again, because we need those watch hours to go up. Those watch hours go up, the more we can, do on the platform. Watch hours and likes and comments help all the time, every time. But that's about it off the top of my head. I can't think of anything else to tell y'all. So yeah, this will be the last stream for the week, official stream. I may do pop up, sometimes I might pop up and do something random here and there, but this is the last official stream on the schedule for the week. So I hope you have a phenomenal weekend, whatever you choose to do. Hope you are safe, secure, and you also treat yourself. Is on Monday, by the way, so I hope you treat yourself, and get to relax or be as productive as you want to be. But yeah, that's going to be it for us tonight. That's it for Bemi tonight. Make sure you have your nightlight on so she doesn't take anything from your room. But until next time, until we see each other again, have a great week. Have a blessed night. Stay true. Stay you. We out. Deuces. Treat yourself to 2025. Baja, baja.